Hey everyone! Happy Saturday. Or I should say, howdy y'all. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the second episode of Pulp, Cthulhu, the Go West campaign. I am Wandering DM. We'll just go around and introduce ourselves, who we're playing. I am playing George Brooke, the town's deputy. Well, let's go with the person right below me, and then we'll go higher up on the overlay. So, who's the priest? What's his name?
The priest I'm playing last time and today is Father Boris Makarov. He hails from Russia. He made his way over to the United States, got caught up in the war a little bit, decided to go out west, and there's tentacle monsters.
There was, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. They were on fire. Moving on up on the overlay, who's our good doctor?
So I am Berserker Rage on Twitter, and I'll be playing Dr. Drake Anders, the skeptical non-believer of the tentacle monsters.
Which is going to come back to bite you in the butt at some point.
Probably, very much so.
And last among the player, but certainly not least, who is playing our town's general storekeeper?
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I play Maisie Coldwater, who is the young woman who now minds the general store in town that was originally built by her parents. And she's a local, born and raised in the New Mexico territory.
And probably will go crazy with all of us.
Only a matter of time.
Yeah. Mind you, you'll probably be the last one. Out of everyone. And well, who's our keeper for this campaign? And once you introduce yourself, keeper, the ball is yours, the mic is yours, and we can start whenever you want.
Well, evening, y'all. I am Deirdre, or Praxagorth Esmephoria, as you see me hanging out in Twitch chat, and today I'm here to drive these fine folk mad. Slowly, and with joy and pleasure. Actually, no, we're going to start off today. Last night, y'all had a experience. It was a shocking experience to some. You ended the evening with a conversation with Miss June Chan, the bounty hunter and enforcer of the Lady Goodnight's House of Rest. After a few bottles of alcohol, I believe, might have been imbibed at such a situation, you retired for the evening and took your rest. To your own lodgings, I would assume. As you, Deputy Brooke, as you left the Lady Goodnights, you waved genially at one Edmund Reed, the gentleman who acts as your night watch deputy, maintains security over at the saloon as he and his very good friend, the former Dr. Thomas Jackson, reigns court at the poker table over all night, and retired yourself for the evening. But we start today as the day dawns on Four Corners, New Mexico. It's hot. It might be October, but it's now pushing 70, 80 degrees, and it's not even 9 o'clock in the morning yet. The sun is beating down on this wood clapboard and stuccoed mixed buildings of Four Corners. The two streets of the town, the main street east-west and the north-south, meet at the junction where the Father Boris reigns supreme as reigns supreme and rules a benevolent ruler of his congregation. Across the street the two corners at the sides of the north-south street across from the church is the other two apexes where folk find themselves and enjoy themselves. One on the west side being Lady Goodnight's house of rest, and on the east side being, well, Bruce Taggart's saloon. Between those three places, most folk spend their day. Further south, you have the Coldwater Sundry store on the west side, and you have the livery stable on bottom of the street on the east side, and across from the livery stable, but about 3 houses down from Coldwater's, you have the town jail, where above the jail rests one Mr. Deputy George Brooke, who is unfortunately awakened very loudly by a on his door.
I don't think I slept well last night. George is gonna get up, and I think he has a small, wood stove in his apartment, and he's just gonna take the boiling hot water that he had prepared on the stove and pour himself a cup of coffee. I said, "Oh, I'll be there in a minute."
Brooke!
I'll open the
I
door.
wish to sleep.
What's going on?
Standing at the door is Edmund Reed, a tall, slightly taller than you are, British gentleman, well-kept hair, well-polished, very English. Brooke, it's 9:30. I'm going to bed.
I reckon I'm gonna have to get up then.
Yes, you have 6 gentlemen downstairs in the cells. But they're fine for right now.
Have
Do
they
believe
sobered
they're
up?
Well, they're beginning to feel the after effects of their choice of intoxication.
Well, that's good on them then. Alrighty,
yes,
Edmund. I'm gonna head downstairs. You catch yourself a good night's sleep? Anything happened
don't
last
sleep
night
at
that I should... A good day's sleep?
Nope. Thank you. No, nothing happened. Oh, the Covington boy is, well, whining.
What for?
You put him in the cell.
Reckon he got what he deserved.
I don't disagree, but he's being a nuisance.
I'll go check up on the boy.
Better you than me. I'm going to sleep. Don't bother us.
I'll just pat Edmund on the shoulder as I leave with my cup of coffee. Groggily make my way downstairs.
Interesting question.
Hmm?
Do you carry or not?
I was gonna go pick it up at the jail downstairs. It's in the locked drawer.
Okay.
It's all part of the plan.
As you make yourself down the side stairs of the building to the jail, Edmund waves at you and proceeds down after you and walking up the street towards the saloon, where he will then join his friend for an evening. Well, morning for them. Evening.
Yeah, it's not day drinking if you work night shifts. It's fine.
It's not drinking that they're going to do.
Whatever.
Pretty much.
I'm gonna head down to the cells. Well,
Okay.
I'm not in too much of a hurry. Nah, alright, I'll go to work. I'll bother Miss June some other day.
As you stride down the stairs, why don't you roll that spot hidden as you make your way into the street?
Am I gonna roll another crit today? Or am I just gonna fail at everything?
You see the same tentacle monster.
Ah, shit! It's a hard success, ma'am.
As you walk down your stairs and come around the front of the building, you see June wave at you as she rides out of town. Probably has business of her own she needs to make up.
You have yourself a mighty fine day, Miss June.
Don't get dead.
I'm gonna try to. I've had nightmares all night about that monster. So yeah, I think the first thing I'm gonna do is ignore the Covington boy in the cell. And reach for the locked drawer in under a table that's sitting near the...
Brooke, let me out!
Yeah, in a moment. I'm just unlocking...
When I tell my uncle what you did...
What you did was against the law, boy. You got what you
I
deserve.
did nothing against the law.
You punched me.
I did not punch you at all. I didn't hit you.
Reckon you aimed for a swing.
Well, intention and action are entirely two different things, and you can't charge me with actions.
You missed because you were drunk and disorderly.
I was not intoxicated.
Reckon that's, Oh, wait, so premeditated aggression, is that it?
Can you make them stop throwing up? They're smelling.
Well, I mean... I could. You could also spend the time in jail to socialize with your brothers from the town. Aren't we all just a big family after all here in Four Corners?
Oh my god, they smell. Make them stop.
Oh. Y'all are gonna have your daily shower later today, folks. If I were you, I'd try to all puke in the same corner.
You see a tall, very tall gentleman with very short cropped hair around his head, beginning to go bald with a large, full beard, and you see Jedediah, gentleman that you are aware of, who's usually a teetotaler, but
yeah, that he drank like crazy last time.
Well, you don't rightly recall him seeing him drinking, but you do recall him being very drunk and disorderly and trying to hit you in the face.
Yeah, well, I assume he's been drinking since he was part of the brawl in town.
He kind of waves a hand. Deputy Brooke,
What you need,
I
Jed?
apologize. I apologize for my behavior, but I really would like... Oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't drink. I don't drink, and don't rightly recall most of what happened yesterday. But could you maybe get the doc, because I'm about to... Oh god, what was it?
Try to puke in that corner.
He proceeds to throw up
All over Covington's
excessively.
pants.
I mean, yeah, kind of. They're kind of in the same cell, and he doesn't seem to be... he's a little sicker than most people probably would be for someone who just said that they don't drink.
Yeah,
The others are kind of in general states of hungover inebriation and beginning to be very sick in various areas of your buckets of your cell. And Jack or John, no one's quite sure which is which, still huddled up on the corner of one of the beds, moaning and grabbing his stomach.
well, y'all hang tight for a moment. I'm going to go get, Dr. Anders.
Thank you kindly, Deputy. I apologize if I in any way, shape, or form caused you harm, Jedediah says, as he seems to be the only one who can answer.
Yeah, and yet, he was drunk just like the other ones. But at least he apologized. I'll get the box out of the drawer. Open it. Take a deep breath as George picks up his revolver, loads it, and holsters it.
Ooh, Deputy's finally gonna grace us with the normalcy. Ooh, he's gonna join us damned folk who carry a weapon.
If I'm fixing to be a damn soul like you're saying, might as well start shooting right away. And I get my pistol out and I point it in the direction of whoever said that. I'm gonna intimidate
Who do you
them.
think?
Oh, Covington, yeah. Can I try to
Go ahead and
intimidate him?
roll. You can definitely try.
I don't.
But you don't. I mean, it would be difficult to intimidate Joshua anyways. He is full-on Draco Malfoying the F out of the situation. So you're gonna shoot me now? You're gonna shoot me? You even know what to do with that gun? You know what end goes? I bet you couldn't hit this broadside of a barn.
I reckon you're right. I haven't shot that thing in years. I'll holster it back. I'm gonna go get the doctor instead. That might be more up my alley.
Yeah, you run and talk to somebody who is actually a man in this town.
You watch that tone of yours, Joshua.
Or what?
Or I might just forget to unlock the jail door for you.
You can't do that! I'm a respectable citizen.
Well, my memory isn't what it used to be.
You're just...
I'm trying my best. Bye-bye. And I'm gonna go get the doctor.
Okay. The doctor's a couple houses up from you on the same side of the street. One house over from the Sundries.
I'm heading over there.
Alright. It's easy enough to do. Walk down the covered portico colonnade with a clapboard wood boardwalk. You see the sun starting to glint, and Doctor, were you able to get up for your morning coffee this morning?
I was. The doctor slept very well. Didn't happen to see anything that happened the night previous, and went to sleep quite well, knowing that his patient was very well taken care of. So, Dr. Andrews' day began with a nice cup of coffee and maybe a few bouts of some early patients.
You saw Miss Anna. She did come by to treat her consumption. Well, you think it's consumption.
Seems to be going around.
Hazards of her job. So, Doctor, you would see Deputy Brooke approaching your place of business as he comes striding up the sidewalk. Well, are you in a hurry, Deputy?
More or less. I mean, I figure they're sick. I wouldn't want everything to, I wouldn't want whatever disease they caught to spread. But also, I really don't want to have to wash away more puke from the cell.
And that would be your job. Definitely not Edmund's.
Figured.
Age has its privileges.
That's okay.
So, Doctor, you see the deputy striding up for you in a might bit of hurry.
Dr. Anders,
George, what seems to be the trouble? You're in an awfully big hurry there.
Yeah, well, it's, you remember all the people we imprisoned yesterday?
I'm aware of the brawl that happened yesterday. And
Yeah, I think they went and caught, some sort of bug for themselves, and, now they're puking all over my cell.
I have to talk to Bruce about whatever's in that rock gut he's got going there. I'm telling you, I have to order off the higher shelves. Let me grab my bag, maybe a bottle or two of castor oil, and we'll come on down and see what we got.
Alright, one more thing, the Jedediah fellow, he says he doesn't drink. I'm inclined to believe part of his stories, but he seems to got the bug worse than everybody else.
He was in the cell, but he wasn't drinking?
Well, I'm pretty sure he took part of in the imbibing of alcohol yesterday before the brawl. But he's normally one of them teetotaler. So I don't know. Maybe he's the source of all the puking. Maybe he drank some bad water from a well or some such. Because I don't remember if in 1874 we knew about bacteria and all that jazz.
We're getting there, but not quite.
Yeah.
Well, you are, however, aware that water is usually not safe and usually the carrier of such things as cholera and dysentery.
Yep.
Two things, King Cholera, as it was generally called, would definitely be something that everybody would be aware of and concerned about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's not about a cholera.
Yeah, that's definitely something we don't want breaking out here in the town.
I mean, what's with the monsters if we now have to manage with the disease and all that? I mean, might as well just empty the town and just all leave.
I don't think it's that bad, George. Let's just let's get down there and let's see what's going on here.
All right, Doc. And I'll follow the doctor.
All right. As the two of you make your way back down the street towards the jail, and why don't you both roll me a spot hidden?
That's a fail for me.
That's a hard success for me. I think I'm gonna change my name to Hawkeye. I think I haven't failed a single spot hidden since the game started.
You did fail one,
I did fail one. Poop.
but you crit or success on most of the others. Yeah.
I'm gonna call myself Half Hawkeye, or Hawk Half Eye.
You might want to workshop that. As you make your way down the boardwalk, you notice something that you didn't quite see as your way up, Deputy Brooks, because, well, the way the houses were laying out, you couldn't see it coming this way. You could only see it going this way. You see a figure on the ground in between the two buildings. All you really see is a small bit of hand laying out.
A hand?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me just a second, Doctor? I'm gonna go check the hand.
Go right ahead. I'll come with you.
Well, you don't look like you're packing iron or iron. Wow, you don't look like you're strapping iron or anything. Might want to stay a few paces back.
That's fine. You go on and lead the way.
Because anyway, you know, I'll lose sanity and you won't. I'll go check
Not
on.
yet.
I'll go check on.
As
What's
you
that?
approach, you see that the hand is attached to a very scruffy and old, tan and brown. Well, probably was brown at one point. You're not quite sure. The dust and mud covering it definitely has messed up what was a halfway decent coat. Probably it's still warm though. And you recognize Wilford. The old town drunk.
Hey. Oh, so it's not old
ran
Cliff.
over last night.
Wait, we don't have Wilford in our townspeople.
Yeah, you
document,
have Wilford. You have the old town drunk who looks like Wilford Brimley, and I just decided, you know what? He's Wilford Brimley.
Oh, okay, so he's not Old Cliff. Okay, so
No.
Wilford.
No, Wilford.
That's all right. I'm gonna nudge him
Guy
with my
that looks
boot.
like There's no response.
Wilford. Wilford, if you would be drinking.
Doctor, is it George? Everything all right?
Not sure. This is Wilford, and he seemed passed out. Can you mind giving me a hand, prop him back up?
Check him, bro. Pulse.
The man is very dead.
George, I hate to say this, but I think he's dead.
Dear Lord. Well, second dead in 2 days. Seems like this town is getting cursed, I say. Do you want me to get, I can bring in the Father Boris while you check on the prisoners?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I'm not giving him mouth to mouth. He's dead. The doctor pronounced him dead on the spot. I'm not kissing a corpse.
You could definitely tell that this man's been dead for at least a few hours. He is ice cold to the touch, and there is no possibility of revival. You're gonna pick him up, or how are you gonna move him?
Yeah. I'm gonna pick him up by the armpits. Put my arms under it. And just drag him to the church.
As you go to move him and lift him up, you notice that his clothes are definitely shedding blood.
I'm gonna flip him over and inspect his body for bullet wounds or claw marks or
Well,
you
maybe
know that
medicine.
whatever that thing did.
Or do you want to ask the doctor?
Well, I'm gonna roll and then I'm gonna ask. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh wow, I almost succeeded though.
It's close.
Wait.
Very close.
I'm gonna burn 3 luck points. And I'm gonna turn to the doctor and I'm gonna tell him what's happening. Wanna feel proud of myself for a second.
This man definitely has lacerations across his chest and arms and various places across his body. You see that his shirt is definitely ripped and torn. There was massive blood loss. Anything else would require a medical professional. You know he was not shot.
Hey doc. Looks like that man has some very big one of them lacerations. And he lost all of his blood. And well, looking at this, I don't think there are any bears around. I think it's the same case as that creature we spied last night. Well, spied and well subsequently put on fire. You wanna? I might need your medical expertise on well what happened.
And I'll give George a puzzled look and let me roll my medicine check here. Oh wow, an extreme
With
success.
an extreme success.
My doctor, it's like you're doing this every day.
Extremely successful at this. You kind of side-eye George and like, yes,
Damn it,
I'm aware.
George. I'm well aware that this man has had some injuries. And then I will proceed.
Particularly, you notice specifically, particularly after tending to the child in person, you are aware that these wounds were definitely made by the same hand, talon thing that injured the child. They are range across his chest in almost V pattern across his arms, slanting downward as if were wrapped around and then pulled. So if you're going for like this, the talons came around the front from the back and pulled behind. You definitely see indentations where the talons of these claws went deeper in certain areas around the chest. You definitely notice that there is a massive amount of, you would expect massive amount more blood to be here. You are aware of exactly how much blood is in the human body, and you are aware that what's on this ground is not enough for the damage done to this man.
George, it looks like, I swear, that this man, he wasn't killed here. He was brought here and dropped. I mean, look at these wounds. Look at his chest. You can't tell me that this man sat here, died, and bled out. Now, I think we have some sort of infestation or something, or whatever the hell these things are. There's probably a nest around or something. We should round up a few folks and let's go see what we can find out.
I reckon the only animal I've ever saw that brought dead critters back to my door was an old tomcat of mine. Do you think we might be dealing with a giant tomcat? That would make just as much sense as what we saw last night anyway.
I mean, I can't say for sure, but I can pretty much guarantee that this is no tomcat.
Alright, well, I'm gonna bring old Wilford back to Father Makarov. You mind checking on the prisoners in the meantime? And I'll round up some of the townsfolk that have can hold the content of their stomach. And the old Wilford. That's not a way to go. I'm gonna pick him up and drag him to and his intention, George will drop him off at the church. He wants to recruit Father Makarov and Maisie, because we are aware of what's going on, and despite the doctor denying everything, we're gonna need some oil lamp and probably some dynamite.
Okay, so you're gonna take the dead man to the church, not the Undertaker's.
Oh, yeah, right. Forgot. Father
Just
Makarov ain't an Undertaker. Yeah, I'm gonna take him to the Undertaker.
I mean, they're next door to the livery stable for a reason.
Them people give me the creeps.
Horses, dead people, I mean, what's the difference?
Keeps the smells on one end of town.
Horses are purdy animals. Dead people are generally not purdy, not animals.
And then I'm gonna head up to the jail, see what's going on here.
As you walk into the jail, you see a sight of, you have 3 jail cells. There are 2 gentlemen in each. Joshua Covington is on the far left-hand side. These are old-fashioned wrought iron gated, barred jail cells. You see Josh, he's kind of trying to keep himself as far away from all of the other guys in this jail as possible. You see Jedediah, who looks to be sweating profusely, and hey Doc, I don't think I might be sick. I'm gonna be sick. Hold on a second. You see again Jack or John, no one's quite sure which, the other of which is still in your infirmary. You have also Leon Eastman, who is looking a mite mad, bad-tempered. And have you ever seen a man try and be angry and throw up at the same time?
Can't say that I have, but I will.
Picture someone like Worf, just angry, wants to punch you in the face, but being delayed by his own infirmary.
All right.
It's like picture all of the intoxicated Saints fans that were both angry and puked all over the place.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, angry, aggressive, but very, very ill. And you also have one Samuel Harris. He's kind of curled up on the side bed in the far right hand cell, just kind of, I'm sorry, Doc, I can't. Doesn't even want to get up.
I'll go tend to Jedediah first, since he's the odd one out here who wasn't drinking but is still sick. So let's see if we can figure out maybe where all this came from. So I'll approach the cell and just kind of reach in and shake his hand, but I just want to see. I mean, so profusely sweating, just vomiting only, I'll ask, is that the only symptom you've had, Jedediah?
I mean, my insides feel like they want to come out of my outsides, but I got a massive headache, man. Like, feel like somebody's been firing off firecrackers inside my head. Oh, sorry, Doc. And I honestly don't. Did I honestly try? I think I may have punched the deputy. Did I? I don't mean to do that. I think I might have to apologize to Miss. No, I didn't. Leon's got to apologize to Miss Goodnight. He done broke her window.
Oh, I think Leon will be all right. So,
oh God, Doc, I'm real sorry about this.
You tell me you haven't been drinking?
No, sir, I don't. I don't not imbibe the devil's liquor.
Well, that's all good and fine. Now, what's the last thing you can tell me that you do remember about yesterday?
We was at the funeral. Priest did a right nice service for Mr. Bradford. I'm sure he would have liked it. There was a call on at the. Oh God, I'm sorry, Doc. Hold on. Yeah, there was a call on, and Mr. Taggart said he was going to offer a free round. And since nobody's seen Silas in a while, I figured I might watch on the boys and make sure they didn't cause too much of a ruckus. And guess I didn't do right well with that. Sorry about that, Doc.
That's all right, Jedediah. Let's see what we can do here to get you feeling a bit better. And I'll reach in my bag and pull out a bottle of aspirin and hand him over a couple with some of the doctor or some of the coffee there from the jail.
He takes it. His hand's kind of shaking. It takes him a minute or two to get both the aspirin and the coffee down. And he's like, "Oh, Doc, I don't know if that was a good idea. I really don't think that was a good idea." Are you going to try and examine the man?
Yeah, let's take a peek here and see what's going on. This is gonna end poorly, I'm sure. So I'll have him come over and basically let's take a look at his eyes and see what's going on.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that medicine check.
Hard success.
You are very much aware that this man is sweating profusely. His eyes are dilated. His heart rate is slightly raised. He seems to be the beginning of shakes. It's hard for him to focus. If you were to guess, you would say that this man had been having something a mite stronger than just alcohol. But there doesn't seem to be anything like that. You know that you have not prescribed Jedediah anything like that. You haven't given Jedediah anything that would be causing these symptoms of withdrawal.
And I'll ask Jedediah, you been on anything, not alcohol, obviously, but I mean, morphine? Anything along those lines, Jedediah? You want to tell me?
Nah, Doc. I mean, I eat right and I drink mostly water, and that's about it.
Well, Jedediah, you look like you're going through withdrawals here, buddy. And you sure
I mean,
you're?
like, yes, sir. I mean, last time I saw somebody, well, I'll be right honest with you, Doc. I had me a right violent reaction when they gave me the morphine during the war and I got shot up. It was not a pretty picture. And some folks told me that they had to like hold me down, and so I try real hard not to, I don't put none of that near me.
And then I'll take a step over to the other cells and take a look at a few of the other prisoners, I guess. See if their eyes and exhibiting the same symptoms.
With that same roll, it's easy enough to see they are all exhibiting the same kind of symptoms. Symptoms of withdrawal. Seems to be Sam is a little bit worse off. He's a little bit harder hit than the others. Jack and or John, again, he's not as bad as the others. Definitely same symptoms, but nowhere near as bad. He definitely looks almost to be as if he is actually coming off of a hangover, but he's still exhibiting some of the same symptoms.
Okay.
And the rest are in the sliding scale. The only one who is not exhibiting those symptoms is Joshua Covington.
Well, he's kind of a pain in the ass, so we'll leave him be. The rest of you boys sit tight. I'm going to have somebody come up and get some water going on the stove here. You boys need something to flush some of this stuff out. I'm going to go have a word with the deputy.
And Jedediah thanks you profusely. Joshua's like, Doc, gotta get me out of here. I mean, I'm not supposed to be in here, Doc. You know me.
Turn coat and just walk out the door.
Oh, man. All right. So as you exit the building, you see the deputy, I presume, had gone up the street towards the church. Is that what I was hearing? You see the deputy. Did you stop and pick up Maisie on the way?
Reckon I should. If she's on my way.
She is.
She is, yeah.
The jail and the livery are here. The dock. The general store.
Yeah, because the church is at the very end of the street. So yeah, reckon I'm gonna go find Miss Goldwater.
She's probably well awake and minding the store already. And when you come in to get her, and what do you say? What do you tell her about what's going on?
I think I'm just gonna. Well, what's the door to your? They're not like not revolving doors, but like batwing doors, like a saloon. Like I figure it's an actual. Yeah, so I'll open the door and I'll knock on the threshold and say, Miss Coldwater?
Yeah?
Maisie? I might need your help for something.
Last time I'd started helping people, weird things happened.
It's
and she'll walk up to the door.
All right. Take my hat off because I'm in the presence of a woman. Miss Coldwater. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid that it is about one of them critters that we saw last night. It got to old Wilford. Dr. Anders think that there might be a nest of them nearby, and I kind of agree with him.
How big of a nest would you need?
I don't know, but we might as well try to kill the bugs right away before they start making a snack out of the town. And reckon you, myself, and Father Makarov are sort of acquainted with the monsters already. Unfortunately, Miss Chan had to leave town for some other urgent business. And Doc Anders won't really believe anything. So it's basically up to the three of us to form a posse and try to clear the land of these things.
I mean, I don't... Oh, boy. Okay. Do we need anything? I mean, we can
My
gestures
request.
to the store.
Yeah, my request might sound a bit out of place, but would you by any chance carry around some dynamite?
I don't know. Deirdre would.
You probably do on occasion.
Gosh, it almost sounds like a luck roll.
Yeah, that would be a luck roll. I mean, thank you, Quentin, for giving me the
Like it's something that I can imagine happens, especially when they're doing because it's a mining town.
Yeah, it's a mining
there is
town, so.
you are a town that is based on mining and cattle. You would probably order dynamite relatively regularly.
A couple times a year, probably.
The question
is if there's any
here.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll that luck roll. Nope. You had some. Unfortunately, Mr. Howard, one of the older local miners that you're aware of, he insured. He bought your last little bit out, and was the one to have it, well, disappear on you. That was about a couple weeks ago, so your next shipment isn't due. Well, mind you, the stage is due this afternoon. You might get some then.
Yeah, I imagine when she had sold out of it, she probably would have put it down, and she'll just say, "Well, Howard took the last of it, but I'm supposed to get another shipment in on the stage, so we can have maybe later today. If not, I do, I supply a lot of the mines, and so I might be able to pull a few strings, but we should make sure we really need it."
Well, I was thinking with the size of them monster things, if they do have a nest nearby, well, we're gonna have to blow the damn thing up.
Well, that's not gonna happen this minute, so this afternoon we can see what comes in.
Well, all right then. Will you be coming with, miss?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know this town better than anybody else. And she'll start locking up the store, and
Reckon you might want to bring that boomstick of yours.
that's not a bad idea. She'll go under the counter and grab her shotgun on top of everything else.
All right then.
So you proceed up the street towards the church. As you do, you see the doctor coming up after you. It's about maybe 30, he's only about 30, 45 seconds behind you as you enter the building of the church. Where do we find the father?
Gosh, praying. So like in the church, I imagine there's probably like a large cross on like the back of it, and he's probably just like hands on knees, holding his holy symbol, just praying. He probably did not sleep very well. Like as calm as everyone else is, he's probably just like, "Well, Father, please give me an answer. Why are these creatures here? Please."
Are you casting divination?
No, not yet. But yeah, just a lot of praying. And then that's like the church is probably empty. Like I wouldn't think that too many people would be in there. So yeah, I'm probably like on my knees, like down in front of it praying.
Well, it's not a Sunday, so most folk aren't in church, and it's a work day and not a funeral. You got the place to yourself at the moment. There was Miss Nellie Connors came in earlier today and changed out the flowers on the altar, but she's been and gone for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you end up now with some fine folk coming to see you.
I stand up and I dust my knees off. I say, "Deputy, what can I do for you?"
Father Makarov, I keep putting my hat back on when I shouldn't. We got another one. It's old Wilford.
My goodness. How did he die?
Do you really want to know, Father?
I feel that the situation is prudent enough that I must know.
He was, George looks around. Are we alone in the chapel?
Mm-hmm. The only person here when you walked in was the priest.
He got ripped apart by one of them beasts. Tentacly things from the lake's house.
Demons. Demons, Deputy. We are besieged by them. Must be.
Reckon demon is a much more appropriate word for them.
What can we do against them?
Well,
I have been praying all night for an answer, but I have not received word.
Doctor...
The whole setting them on fire thing seemed to work real well.
Thought it did. Otherwise, Dr. Anders thinks that there might be a nest nearby, and I think we should go get ourselves a look-see.
Nearby where?
Around the town.
Are you proposing we search the town?
I'm proposing we search the surroundings. If they act like, I'd say they act like them mountain tigers, mountain lions, Jesus Christ, mountain tigers. If they act like the mountain lions, they probably have a den somewhere outside of the, well, far away from the light of civilization. If they're demons, then they probably dwell far away from the light of God.
Let us hope so. God has chosen us, Deputy. Why else would he show this to us if we were not the ones to be able to stop it?
Well, I reckon it's either that or this is our damnation.
Maybe. Give me 1 second, and I'll go back and I'll grab my shotgun, even though I'm not very good with it. I would say, hopefully, I will not have to use it, but it is better to have it than not.
You've ever shot that thing before, Father?
Not very much. Hopefully, I can point and hit something.
Try to make sure you don't point it in our direction.
I will try.
Also, I don't think you're gonna break any of them vows you took by shooting at demons. I think killing them creatures is what God would like you to do.
We use what God gives us to solve the problems that are in front of us. Weapons have been used since the beginning of time, Deputy.
Yeah, but they're never used for any good.
That is very opinionated.
It's the very definition of a weapon to kill, but alright. If I recall, the doctor is with us. We met with him, right? Before we leave, Doctor, anything to do with my prisoners?
Well, unless you're slipping a morphine in their coffee, I don't know what the hell is going on, to be honest, George.
Well, the only thing that I could think of is that Edmund fed them something last night. Last night. I haven't given them anything to drink or to eat.
You might want to ask Edmund about that. Any more word on Wilfred?
Well, he's I'm gonna sign the cross. He's with God now, anyway. I don't think we need to concern ourselves with poor old Wilford anymore.
But maybe going back to where you found him would be a good place to start.
Well, that was my intention. It's either that or we searched the vicinity of the lake's house.
It's probably not a terrible idea. I need to run back to my office and pick up my gun if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. I just didn't think you were carrying a weapon after the war and all that.
Well, George, there's probably quite a bit about me you don't know.
Reckon I don't know a lot about anybody in this town.
Give me a few and I'll be back.
Dr. Anders, if there's anything you need to confess, I am here for you.
Well, suppose that'll just have to be between me and God when the time comes.
Isn't confession a Catholic thing, Father Makarov?
No, definitely Orthodox too.
I'm just...
Everybody but the Protestants.
I don't confess to anything. I don't have anything to reproach myself.
That is good, Deputy.
I live with a clean conscience.
As we all should. Please, let us see where you found this body.
Alright. You might want to gird yourselves for, there's still quite a bit of blood outside.
There's not a lot of blood.
Well, there's blood spatters, right?
Small amounts, but nowhere near what you would expect from a man that size. That's the point. His blood is not inside his body.
No, that's true. It disappeared. Well, you might be disappointed then. Come with.
I'll meet you there where we found Wilford.
Proceeding down the street, the deputy leads Maisie and the priest to where they found Wilford, and the doctor's going to make his way over to his abode to pick up his very important weapon. You see standing, leaning against a pillar, one of those posts that hold up the roof above the sidewalk, in front of the saloon, you see Bruce Taggart lighting up a cigarette, just kind of looking at you. Sorry about the ruckus, deputy, but it was a funeral. What'd you expect?
I expected people to go less berserk on one another.
Y'all have a fine day. And he flicks the cigarette into the street and walks back into his saloon.
Oh, wait, Mr. Taggart?
Yes, deputy?
Mr. Taggart, sir, some of the folks who drank whatever it is you served yesterday, they all got to puking in my cell. I don't know.
That seems like your problem.
You might be having one tainted bottle on your hand. If I were you, I'd pay mind to what you're serving your patrons next time, or where you get your bottles from.
Wise idea, deputy. I'll definitely keep it in mind. Maisie! You keeping these fine folk out of trouble?
Oh, I'm trying. But, seems to be all sorts of trouble around here today.
Uh-huh. Well, let your daddy know that I'll be in here, and we, expecting a guest for tonight. If he wants to come lose his money in style.
I'm sure he will take you up on the offer.
Alright, y'all have yourselves a good day. Father, fine service, Father. And he walks back into the saloon. Proceeding down the street, it's no problem to get back to that alleyway between the general store and one of the side houses on the main street, to find that alleyway where, again, you found Wilfred splayed out. You can roll me a spot hidden if you want. Let's see what you all find. Anyone can.
I reckon I will. Oh boy. I lost my chance at calling myself Hawkeye.
Yep, you did. By a bit. Well, you were slightly distracted by what you were recalling seeing here the last time you were here. And, but Kelly with a success and the doctor with a hard success. Unfortunately, the priest is more worried about the divine issues of the man's soul, I would assume, than the material plane at which the man no longer resides upon.
He was not a godly man.
He was okay. A little bit drunk, but not a disorderly drunk. One of those good old boys who will sit down and chew your ear off about better times. But again, with the success and that hard success, you notice... With that hard success, Doctor, you definitely notice that there is no blood on the ground. There are a few minor spatters on the wall, but pin drops. You might shed more blood nicking yourself on a paper cut. You also notice, between you and Maisie, who is very familiar with the area around this town, that the only set of footprints around are, well, the dead man's. And it definitely looked like he kind of staggered his way into this alleyway and then collapsed.
And there's no blood leading along that path.
Not along the path. I mean, he came. It's like the two houses are here, and he came from across into the desert and came up this way. You see a couple footprints that you could definitely try and follow, I guess, if you had somebody who could track for you. But there's nowhere near the amount of blood that you would be expecting from a man who died with such severe lacerations, Doctor. You have seen men die in such a manner before, and you are aware of the vast amount of blood that would make a mess all over here, particularly when various arteries are severed around the main cavity of a man's body.
And I'll look over to George. George, do you realize there should be an ungodly amount of this man's blood here, and there is nothing? What in the hell do we have going on?
Well, I don't think it's a giant mosquito. I'm thinking that whatever or whoever did this, they must have ran away with all the blood. Do you think there could be a vampire in New Mexico? I mean, I don't think vampires exist. But after what we saw last night, I'm thinking anything might be possible.
George, you should really, really take up writing. I think you'd have an excellent career in some fiction work. I think we need to figure out what's going on. We really do. I can't have bodies piling up in this town.
Well, neither can I. I mean, the only person that would profit from this whole venture would be the Undertaker and Father Makarov here.
There is no profit in death, my friend.
Say that to the Undertaker.
Why would he take his blood?
That puzzled me just as much as it seems to be puzzling Miss Coldwater here. Have something on your mind?
Would Maisie know anything that could connect this person with the lakes?
I mean, Wilford's a kindly man who has everybody liked. Kind of felt sorry for him, but never quite got over whatever caused him to turn to drink, but was not an uproarious sort. May have been escorted out of the saloon a few times, but Not for causing a ruckus, merely being there until last call. A couple folk may have given him some coin on an occasion, and there was an occasional time when he would work as a miner. Which is about the only connection between him and the lakes.
Where does he sleep, generally?
Mm-hmm.
Usually wherever he could find a way out of the street, so he was out of everybody's way. He occasionally slept in the livery stable. George may have banged the man up a few times just to get him off the, get him in a bed. He occasionally slept on one of your pews, Father, if the church was open.
Deputy, did this man have any material possessions? Perhaps we may find a clue of some sort.
Where? Yeah, he was a transient, so he must have had like a camp or a place that he would. I know he's sleeping left and right, but normally even homeless have like some sort of favorite spot somewhere.
Did he have anything on his body?
I don't loot the dead, Father, but seeing as how we're in role-playing game, I should have done that. Let me just go to the Undertaker.
What is this role-playing game you speak of?
Well, after I saw them monsters last night, it got me thinking. Nothing makes sense anymore. For all we know, we're just a construct of someone's weird, overactive imagination. And we're stuck in tiny boxes on binary software on a computer, and then my head explodes. But all joking aside, I think the father Makarov had a good idea, and if y'all don't mind just waiting for me, I'll be just a minute.
Does the father want to give rats to the dead man? Or are you gonna let the deputy examine this dead man's body without praying for his soul?
I'm trying to think, like, back then, do they, like, the Undertaker would, like, take all the, like, did they clean him up back then, or is it just like, oh, there's another one, throw him in the box?
It depended on the town that you were in and how civilized or lawful they were. And Four Corners is not Purgatorio, which is well known for its banditry and basically an outlaw hideout on the other side of the border. But you have a decent Undertaker who actually puts some effort into laying out those who are, well, of a certain status. Wilfred's probably not got much to his name, so figure the ceremony's going to be you, pine box, and whoever you can get to put the pine box in the ground. But they would kind of prepare the body, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll probably, like, pull out the old Bible and say a couple words, may have God, have mercy on your soul, may he forgive you in his holy light, and then we can loot his body.
so you're going with George is the important part on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the two of you cross the street and go down a couple houses or buildings into the Undertaker's, which is, again, next door to the livery stable. The Undertaker is a man slightly anti-stereotype for his business, slightly jovial fellow, very rounded, his name of Pat Bryant. He likes to have the occasional sipping drink in the saloon, but he's never set foot in Lady Goodnight's. Very happily married and well known to most folk in town. Most people believe that Pat will do you right when God comes knocking for you. Deputy!
Morning,
it's grand
Pat.
to see you, grand. Are you here about our dear friend Wilfred?
Reckon I am, yeah.
Grand, aren't you? Oh, you brought the priest with you. Father, are you going to say some prayers for him before I get started?
Yes, I will say some words for him.
Aye, all right. I'll let you go for that then. Can I help? Was there something you needed, Deputy?
And I think Father Makarov would notice that George is visibly jarred by, maybe a bit afraid of Pat. I just needed to take one last look at the body, and did you undress him?
Oh, I hadn't gotten that far yet. I mean, you just brought the man to my place of business.
I'm
You have to, have to be a little bit polite to him before we get that personal.
reckon that's a good thing. I just need to rifle through his pockets. I think that might be some foul deed that happened. I just need to make sure.
Yes, I can't see this. I mean, it looks like an animal, but man, what kind of animal would do that to Wilford? Should we be concerned, Deputy?
I think everything's fine. I'm heading out today to try to see find a trace of that animal, or whoever did that, and bring him to justice. So yeah, don't you worry none. I'm taking care of that.
She's grand. She's grand. Father, can I anything I can do for you?
No, being here is fine. Might I have the room with George for a moment?
She's grand. I'll get myself a cup of coffee before you come back. Just give it a shout, I'll hear you. And he proceeds out the door and up a house or two to his own place of residence where he will enjoy a pleasant morning cup of coffee with his wife.
Did you mean that, George? That there is nothing to be worried about?
What would you have me tell them, Father?
The truth.
Oh, I mean, if I go around town and I keep telling people that I saw one monster floating about and he was bleeding the kid dry by just being in this presence, that there are demons prowling the town of Four Corners, reckon I'd be sent to an asylum and, well, honestly, I don't know. He names an important asylum at the time.
Insert here, yeah.
Be sent to the asylum in Daisy Town.
Wouldn't it be better to... You have witnesses to the event, Deputy. We were there. Whether or not it was whatever Dr. Andrews thought it was, but to have more people knowing what is going on, wouldn't that be more prudent? More aware?
Well, the way I see it is this. Out of the four of us, only three of us sort of understood what happened. And, the doctor denies everything, and he's seen it. Like us. Picture
if I... around him, sure.
Yeah, but... Picture if I were to come around town and just tell everyone what we've seen, without them having any proof of it. I don't think 3 out of 4 folks would believe me. I think it would be more around 0 out of 4 folks. Until we can bring back a body or something. Like a trophy, I think.
As you wish, Deputy. It is your town.
Well, I wish it was my town, but it's Covington's now. Really.
And then with that, I'll pull up my Bible and grasp my holy symbol. And I'll say some rites, end it, with the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. May your spirit rest in peace. And then then I guess I'll let the deputy kind of just rifle through his pockets. Probably his pants pockets. He probably has a shirt pocket, I guess.
Yep. He doesn't have a shirt pocket. He does have a couple pockets in his coat and a couple awkward pockets that in his pants. One that had a hole that he never got around to fixing. The pants were definitely a little awkward length, a little awkwardly hemmed, a little ragged on the bottoms.
I try not to touch his unmentionables.
Okay. It's fine. It's easy enough to do. The man's wearing a union suit and he wasn't going to take it off until he died. Probably not even then. Its pockets hold very, very little. There are a couple, couple pennies and about a nickel in one of his shirt pockets. You find a small medallion to St. Michael, kind of sewn into the hem of the into the lapel of the coat. Excuse me. You find a couple cigarettes that look like they were half smoked. Maybe picked them up from the ground and, it's like waste not, want not. You do find a sheath for a Bowie knife. You do not find the knife. And you find 4 bullets in his front left pocket.
Did he have a holster? Or no?
No holster that you see. But again, that's not necessarily uncommon.
Yeah, he could have used the bullets to barter for stuff. Or I don't know, he pawned his pistol or his rifle. Simon believes that the Bowie knife is inside a creature right now.
It's an idea.
George is trying to remember if there was any time that he's seen Wilbur with a knife.
Oh, yes.
Disorderly conduct and got a knife out, try to threaten someone or what have you.
He never got aggressive with it, but the man definitely had a knife. He was known for using it he would pull it for the littlest thing, cutting an apple, flicking, whittling some wood. It's a bit big for whittling, but it definitely what he did it occasionally. You took it off him a couple times when you locked him up for being, when it was mostly just too cold for the man to sleep outside. Not known again for drunk and disorderly. One of those affable drunks that would just kind of lean on you and chew your ear off all night, telling you stories about everything he ever saw or found or, seen in this wide, wide world.
Do I recall any stories now that, there's some strange afoot? Do I recall any stories about, either of them creatures or...
You recall certain stories that he would tell you about why he didn't go into certain mines. That there are things in the mines that are scarier than a bear.
Now that I come to think of it, Father, I think I know where our demons lay.
Where?
Well, poor Wilbur here told me some stories when he was sobering up in jail, and apparently some of the nearby mines were haunted by creatures bigger than a bear. It's probably what he saw. I don't know where he was before last night, though. I'm gonna check his boots.
Easy enough to do. Roll out spot hidden.
At least you're not...
There isn't really an investigation check.
No, that's true. At least you didn't tell me, what boots.
Nope. The man had his boots on.
That is a very hard fail.
They're very dusty, and the treads are very, very worn. These are the only pair of boots this man has probably had in years. There's not a lot there. You see a small hole that he might need to get repaired in the heel soon, but obviously hadn't taken it over to the cobbler in recent memory.
Well, probably never had the funds to do it either, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright then. Well, he doesn't have much possessions.
Is there any chance we could follow his tracks from where he came into town?
Well, figure our best tracker is Miss Chan, and she left town this morning. I can probably try to track him down. I don't know if you're any good at tracking. I can ask Miss Coldwater. She's been around. Maybe she knows how to track. I mean, people here all have some weird talents they seem to have picked up over the years.
Unfortunately, I am not gifted with the skill of tracking.
Well, I figured. I mean, no disrespect, Father, but it don't strike me as the type of person to live off the woods for like 2 weeks trying to track down a raccoon for your next meal.
No, I have never had to experience that in a long time.
Why'd you say in a long time? Haven't
It's a
you
long-
always been a priest?
One is not born a priest.
Oh, I thought you was. You just woke up one day when you were a wee child and you just, I don't know, heard God or something.
It is not exactly how one becomes a priest. Some do, I am sure.
But then,
I was born a normal child from a fairly normal family in St. Petersburg.
I don't know where that is, Father, I'm sorry.
It is far, far away, my child. A tale for another time, I'm sure.
I'm fairly sure. So wait, did you have to grow up and go through like all of the things that happen in down under when you look at a lady? And or did you were always just fixating on that Jesus?
I believe that God spoke to me in my darkest time of need. He showed me a vision of a place I needed to go, and I went there. And then it led me to this path, I believe to this moment, here and now, to find out what is going on here in Four Corners.
You are
And
saying that... Oh,
And that is where we're going to go on our break.
no problem.
Because that is a great line for this to go on a break. And y'all will be back shortly.
Yeah, in about 5 minutes. See you later, everyone.
Don't lose any so far.
Hey, we're back. We are back. Hello.
Hello, all.
Where were
Well,
we? Yes, leaving the
we-
Undertaker.
You were leaving the Undertaker, and as you leave the Undertaker, you hear. Well, no, you would definitely hear this. It doesn't matter if you rolled that listen check or not. It's quite loud. You hear the stage pulling in. 4 teams of horses make a might bit of noise as they're thundering up the street. Pulling up right in front of the livery stable. And some folks start hopping out. First being the stagecoach shotgun man hops off the top as the stagecoach guy pulls the horses in and gestures to the livery man to start bringing out water and get the horses rested for the next leg of their journey, because this is not where they're stopping for the night. They continue on to their next post. But the shotgun man jumps off, grabs a couple things off the top. The first being, and he starts like, "Hey, anybody seen the deputy?"
That'd be me.
"Oh, oh yeah, you're Deputy Brooke, aren't you? I'm sorry. He's a little younger gentleman with bright red hair, trying to grow a beard, but it's really kind of patchy at this point. I got you some wanted ads." And he hands them over to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them.
I got, and he's holding in his hand another really big, heavy bag that says U.S. Mail all across it. I'm supposed to find some cold water. There's a cold water I'm supposed to give the mail to. Who's that?
That will be Maisie. Her store is that away. but I think she's out at the moment. I can go fetch her for you.
Right kindly for you, sir. Right kindly. I appreciate that. I got a couple other deliveries to make, and this will be easy if I can get rid of this first.
All right, then. Just you wait here for me for a moment. Father, do you want to come with?
Yes.
All right. And as we go get Maisie, can I just take a look real quick at the wanted posters?
Sure. Go right ahead. Look through them. It's easy enough to do. You see a couple people wanted for murder, a couple arson, 1 or 2 cattle rustlers, but no names that you're really familiar with.
All right, then. Reckon I should give a copy of those to the bounty hunter.
There is an interesting description of a woman wanted for, well, insurance fraud and what's the actual term? It wasn't conning. It was fraud. Wanted for fraud. But there's no name attached to it. Come down from Santa Fe. The description is of a slightly taller than average, attractive woman with bright blue eyes and dark black hair. The name attached, they think her name was Jane or June or Jocelyn.
I'm pulling up my backstory.
Go ahead.
trying to remember the names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, sure. They said Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm.
And they think she might be in New Mexico now? Where's Santa Fe?
Mexico.
Santa Fe is the capital of New Mexico.
Yay! U.S. geography.
It's fine. If you're looking at if you think that Four Corners is up here in the corner between Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, Santa Fe is down here.
Okay.
And
All
Texas is over here.
I'll keep an eye out for,
They do make a point of saying that she's wanted both for fraud and for poisoning a man.
All right. Okay. That's just my kind of lady.
Mm-hmm.
So many sinners out here, deputy.
It's like I said, Father, I think Four Corners are damnation. Oh! Miss Coldwater. Hi, Miss. So I figure we've arrived.
Oh yeah. Hey, you're walking across the street.
I did a bit of improv back in high school. I think the coachman had he had a bag of mail for you. He wanted to speak with a Coldwater. I think that'd be you.
Oh, yeah, that's probably part of the shipment, maybe. Although that usually comes on the stagecoach. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
I think it's a stagecoach. Reckon it is.
Okay. And did you take the bag from him, or do I have to go grab it?
No, he didn't take the bag.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Miss Coldwater. I didn't pick the bag up. I should have. This is a faux pas on my part.
He wouldn't have given it to you. The coachman would not, the shotgun man would not have given the mail bag to the deputy. Because the contract for the U.S. mail by this point is traveling on the stage and would be contracted through to the general store, where it would be delivered out through the general store. And while the deputy is a fine, upright, standing citizen, you are not a member of the United States Postal Service, and it would be illegal for him to hand it to you. At least in public.
Well, I spout the same shit back to Maisie. I'm like, I would have,
Anyway.
and it not be illegal.
Yeah. She's like, yeah. Some, you know, if I'd gotten there, sometimes you can bend the rules, but whatever. I'll be back. I'll go deal with it. You guys figure out where we're gonna go from here.
Oh, I think we're gonna head out to the mines.
Oh, really?
It's a long story. I'll let you get to the mail first.
And she would run. She'd
As you,
probably jog, like run over to deal with it. Check to make sure there's nothing
Here's
for
an interesting-
her.
Maisie, do you wear a skirt?
Yes, but I think she's cut it pretty like ankle off, fairly short. So it's designed to be
Yeah.
pretty easy to move in, easy to ride in.
Whoa. Does that mean
Showing
we
your
see?
ankles?
Yeah, you're showing your ankles in public, Miss Coldwater.
I've got boots on.
She's got boots on, and this would not be as scandalous as it would be in some.
Yeah, no, I'm
farmer
kidding.
Back east, sitting on the side of. But no, it's not scandalous. It is a wider cut skirt, slightly flared. Yes, okay.
I mean,
No
you
safe
could wear
never.
trousers for all I care. You do you, Miss Coldwater. You do you.
As you run up to the stagecoach, you see the shotgun man, who's a young gentleman. Again, bright red hair, scruffy looking beard. Coldwater, right?
Yeah, that's me.
So I got the mail for you, and I got a couple other things that y'all ordered.
Oh yeah. Let's take a look. Let's. And she'll immediately go towards the back. Probably. She's done this like a million times.
Oh yeah, it's. He starts handing down a couple big, large packages. The mail bag is significantly sized, at least for this era, about the size of a, large size messenger bag. Not a full, but a large size. He hands you off a couple, crates of canned goods, and while you're doing this, you see a gentleman exit the stage. Definitely well-to-do, well-dressed, bright maroon red coat with a flat top hat, big cravat, and a large stick pin in his ascot. He nods to you and says, I apologize, ma'am. I have looking for a Dr. Thomas Jackson.
Is this a name that she recognizes?
Oh yes, you're very familiar with the former Dr. Thomas Jackson. He retains his title even though he is unable to perform medicine. A unlucky cannonball during the war towards his medical tent removed the gentleman's right arm and prevents him from acting as a surgeon anymore. He now holds court as as one of the major poker players in town and gamblers in Bruce Taggart's saloon. He is also, you would also know that he is the very dear good friend of one Edmund Reed. And why Mr. Reed is more than happy to take the evening shift at the jail, as he basically means he sits in the saloon and ensures that nobody causes a problem.
She goes, "You must be the guest that Uncle was talking about."
Your uncle?
He runs the saloon in town.
Mr. Taggart, I believe.
Yeah.
Stuck in between two, in between the accents is fun.
The joy of
Could you point
DMing.
me in the general direction?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's not a big town. I can point you at the saloon. Just that one. If Dr. Thomas isn't in there now, he will be any hour. He's usually there most days.
A kindness and a pleasure, madam. I do appreciate your assistance.
We don't get too many fancy folk like you around here.
Yes, it's not usually my desire, but Thomas is a friend, and he promised me a game. You can roll a spot hidden if you want.
Yeah. Would it be a spot hidden, or would it be like?
Well, are you
psychology?
examining him? What he's? Are you examining his mental status or physically?
No, probably his person. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Oh, success. You notice as he gestures with his hat to thank you very kindly that he is definitely carrying a large number of weapons. He's carrying 2 shoulder holstered revolvers that you can just make out the handles of under his coat. And you can see a large, well, though his shirt and coat are very well tailored, there is definitely something on his arm underneath his right sleeve.
And I think Maisie would just tell him. She's like, well, I manage the general store in town. So if you get stuck without something while you're out here, come give us a visit.
I do appreciate it, madam. I would definitely take you up on that. And he just kind of smirks at you slightly and nods. Not smirk, but just smiles with his eyes a little kinder.
Okay. And I think she would just kind of nod and then go back to what she was doing.
He proceeds up the street towards the saloon where you gestured towards. As he turns, just leave my bags. I'll be back for them in a short while. As the coachman begins taking a few bags off the top. And at this point, the shotgun guy, and we have one more thing for you, ma'am. Do you want some help carrying this over to your store? I'm real. You seem a real nice lady, and I don't want you to, die unexpectedly from explosion.
Oh, is this the dynamite? oh, there's a lot here to carry, and I would appreciate the extra pair of hands, but I could have done it myself. But it'll be faster with one trip.
Yes, ma'am. Where are we going?
And she gestures to the store. I think she's probably got mail and a bunch of the other bags in her hands and just starts walking.
Okay, carefully. And he's moving very slowly and carefully, following you in a straight line.
She's like, as long as you don't light it on fire, it'll be fine.
Oh. Will it? Oh, okay. I said to be careful with it. I'm being careful. As he proceeds to follow you back to the store.
I mean, the whole ride to town must have been way bumpier anyway.
He's not the brightest tool in the shed.
See that?
He's a shotgun man on a stagecoach. His life expectancy is
not long.
1.5 trips.
If he lasts that long, he might get promoted. But he's definitely not the coachman, who has, by this point, gotten the horses unhitched and is making a beeline to the saloon as he has taken his lunch break and an opportunity to get himself something liquid so that he can continue to deal with his shotgun man as they drive for another 4 or 5 hours tonight. But yes, it's easy enough to get your delivery into your store, and the young shotgun guy, okay, all right, I'm gonna set this right here, and I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm
And she probably nods at him as she's taking probably like a crowbar to like pop open the back of the crate of dynamite.
And he runs out. He is not. And this is a standard packed crate. The dynamite's on one, and the fuses aren't even attached to each other. There's definitely sawdust in it.
She lights a cigar, cracking it open.
Theoretically could. I wouldn't recommend it. It is well packed. It is well packed. It's packed with sawdust and other packing to make sure it doesn't shift too much in transit. And it is new dynamite, so there's no concern about sweating.
Yeah, so I think she'd do a couple of things. She'd make sure that everything that she ordered was there really quick. And then would go through the mail to see if there's anything for herself or her 3 companions, because she knows she's about to go see them.
As you look through your order is all there. Everything you ordered is intact, including the peppermints that you were out of for Miss Connors. You go through the mail. There are a couple letters addressed to both Theodore Bradford and Genevieve Bradford. There's a large, not large, but like a book-sized package wrapped in brown paper, a hand addressed to Geraldine Marsden, your dear friend and school teacher in town. There is a couple small notices that look like they're for the saloon. There is a letter from for Doc Anders. Very fancy calligraphy on the outside of the letter. You also see a tri-folded leaflet kind of thing, thicker than a letter, but folded in on itself with a large wax seal that's addressed to Father Boris.
So I think she'd put the stuff for the kind of Bradfords and the people she knows really well and off to one side so she could grab them all at once later. And she'd pocket for the father and the doctor, she'd pocket those things in the probably in one a pouch that she has, or even in a little pocket. And then she'd find probably some kind of canvas sack from the store, and put a couple of the sticks of dynamite in the sack and a couple of the fuses not in the sack somewhere else, so that they were separate from each other.
I mean, you probably have a bunch of old flour sacks hanging around from various and sundry. It's easy enough to do. Are you going back to join the gentleman?
Yeah.
You see the young coachman carrying another large crate that he has taken off the stage up, and he goes, "Saloon's this way, right?" Great, thanks.
It is.
Shit. Okay. And he kind of is wobbling a little as he's carrying this slightly oversized crate for him.
Would you like me to give you a hand with that, sir?
Yeah, I can't drop this. Seriously, he'd kill me if I dropped this.
What's in the box?
Product.
No, I gather it's product, but I mean, what's in the box?
Whiskey?
That's all I needed to know.
I mean, I don't know. Should I be... Deputy, should I be concerned?
Well, I reckon Four Corners is a dry county, boy. I don't think you should be telling me that you're bringing whiskey in here. I might have to just confiscate this whole crate.
Oh, no, okay, yes, I'm gone. And he literally just shoves this crate at you and runs back down the street towards the coach. And you just see the stagecoach driver look down the street at you and go, He's an idiot. And walk back into the saloon. You now have a very large crate. Would you like to do anything with this very large crate?
I'd like to open it up.
Okay.
Reckon if I need a crowbar, I'm gonna go see Miss Coldwater.
I mean, it's easy enough to pop.
I'm gonna pop the box open.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what's in the box.
You always want to see what's in the box. You always want to see what's in the box.
I want to see what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box, Deirdre? What's in the box?
A bunch of bottles. Or what's in the box? Very, very fancy looking bottles.
Not the type of rudgut that he would.
No, they've got a very nice they're obviously whiskey bottles, they're not wine bottles. They've got a very nice large wraparound label, goes all the way around, and they're kind of those pressed flat bottles, the pressed flat whiskey that you could hide in your pocket. It's like a double as a flask.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly thicker than that, almost like a Henny bottle, but round, Okay, I worked at a liquor store for an extended period of time. Do you want me to describe various types of alcohol to you? I can.
No, I'm fine. If it's just whiskey in a small flask-like bottle, that's enough for me. Yeah. I'm just gonna pick one up.
You okay? And you see right on the label?
Here.
Are you?
Well, I'm gonna try to read the label.
Okay. The label is a very high-end label, and it's not in English.
Well, reckon. What
languages does George speak?
George is fluent in Babylonian, Latin, and English. I'm just pulling your leg. I speak English. Oh, and a bit of Spanish.
That's right. I was like, you had another one.
Yeah, where is it on that sheet?
It's not. It's language other, not language own.
Oh yeah, because I didn't switch the stats in.
Yeah, you didn't put. I was like, we talked about it. I know you have it.
Yeah. I'll lower one of my other skill. Yeah.
It's not English. It's not Spanish. It doesn't look like any Romance language. I mean, if you speak enough Spanish to get by, you can kind of recognize some of things like French and Italian. It doesn't look like any of that. And there's there's not an actual image on the bottle, but it's embossed. Like, you can feel it with your hands.
What's embossed on it?
It is a set of horns with a snake weaving their way through it.
Horns with a snake.
Like a set of cattle horns, like,
Mm-hmm. How many bottles are there in the box?
About 30.
I'm gonna take one, and I'm gonna spread I figure it's like packed with straw in between.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to move the straw around a bit to make it look like they might have miscounted and put 29 bottles instead of 30.
Since you're doing this in the middle of the street, you want to try and roll a stealth?
Yeah, am I there? My team actively stealing?
And then Maisie would probably be coming out of the store at this point.
I'm failing my stealth check. I'm just rummaging through a box in the middle of the street.
Nothing
I mean, Maisie's coming out. You see him with this giant crate, kind of ruffling through it, and start to put the lid back on. The doctor and the priest, I think, are still in the alleyway. You roll me that spot hidden and see if you see it. Yeah, Father, you definitely see George had opened this box, peered into it very intently, picked up a bottle, looked at it very, very quizzically, looked at it again, slide it into his pocket, rummage through the box, and seal it back up again.
Doctor, does George have a drinking problem?
Not that I know of.
It appears he is stealing some sort of liquid from the crate he is carrying. I assume it is alcohol.
Maybe we should go ask him what he's doing?
Perhaps not in public. Maybe he does have a good reason, but something to keep in mind.
I've never known George to be a thief, so we'll find out what's going on.
Are you going to take the case now that you have a bottle into the saloon? Okay, it's easy enough to do. You stride on in. You stride on in, and you see Bruce Taggart behind the bar, attempting to be his usual boisterous barman self and engage the gentleman that spoke with Maisie. The gentleman's... Roll a psychology check.
Well, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on!
Yeah.
I have like a 1 out of 2 chance in psychology.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a skill. I'm sorry that George isn't good at it. I don't know.
George is good 50% of the time, thank you.
50% of the time, he's good. But what about that other 50%? But you see this gentleman, and he just kind of looks at you as Bruce is going off on, well, we're quite glad to have you in town. It will be a great pleasure to host you at our game. You, sir, Mr. Adams, are a fine gentleman. I appreciate... And he's just looking at you going,
Hi, Bruce.
Deputy, how you doing? This is our new guest.
That's okay, I met
Mr.
the fellow
Adams?
out. I met Mr. Adams a few minutes ago outside.
Indeed, it was a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Deputy. The name is Benjamin Adams. I apologize.
Well, welcome to Four Corners, Mr. Benji Adams.
Ben or Benjamin, if you must.
I known Ben back in my time. Was a mighty fine fellow. Are you a mighty fine fellow, Mr. Adams?
On occasion. Some people seem to think that I am. Apologies. It's been a very long trip, and I'm slightly tired. Was just going to freshen up in my room, and before I sat down with my dear friend, Dr. Thomas.
Oh, yes. I have a question for you, Mr. Adams, before you go, sir.
Indeed.
And as I put the crate up on the bar, take a few steps back on my way out, I'm just gonna ask Mr. Adams, Mr. Adams, sir, would you perchance have any family? I reckon I might have seen other members of the Adams family before, but that's okay, that might just be me.
No, I'm not currently married. My wife died.
Oh,
It was
my
upsetting.
sincere condolences.
Oh. Cholera, you understand.
Mm.
I do apologize. It's a while ago. It still hurts. Why don't you roll me that spot hit on Mr. Adams?
I sure can. I figure a poor Morticia must have had a 1. I'm gonna spend 3 fucking luck points. Screw this thing. I succeed.
You do.
I want to
You also
see.
You also see that the gentleman is very well armored. He is carrying a lot of weapons.
I mean armed, not armored.
Armed.
Okay.
Armed, not armored.
So I was
Sorry.
like, wait, he's wearing a breastplate? He could have. He could have been.
No, but his shirt is a little thicker than you would expect for the gentleman's size and body type. He is wearing, again, you see the two holstered guns. You see the slightly thicker around his right arm. You also notice something that Maisie did not. Now that the gentleman has taken his hat off. Although he looks very well dressed and very well fit in, his hairstyle and general appearance is old-fashioned for a man his age. He appears to be in his mid-20s, maybe a couple years older than you are, but his hair and styling would give him the appearance of a man much older, slightly more upper cross, a gentleman that officers that, dressing like officers that you would have been familiar with from the war. Not quite a dandy, definitely not quite a dandy, but very well dressed and very well appointed. His hair is very well styled. He also is very clean shaven.
That's a sign of a tin horn right there. The size of a man's beard determines the size of a man's gun, or so that's what my father said. Mr. Adams, sir, can I have a private word with you for a second before you go freshen up for your game later? We can just step outside.
Of course, Deputy. I'm more than happy to.
I just wanted this to step, just outside of the saloon, under the... Mm-hmm. I figure there's, a outside roof thing. Yep. Now, I see you're coming into Four Corners, armed to the teeth, Mr. Adams. I've seen your type before the war and after. I just hope I'm not gonna have any...
He looks at you slightly quizzically.
I mean, something tells me you might be working for the agency. You look like one person that could have been working for the Pinkertons.
Oh, Deputy. I'm not a Pinkerton. I was at one point a very good doctor. But that's a very long time ago.
Doctor packing as many weapons as you are. I don't know what school of medicine you went to, but I'm pretty sure you don't sew people back up with pistols.
No, I usually do that with a needle and some catgut thread and occasionally some maggots. But no, I'm the weapons, because I am very familiar with this corner of your United States. Yes, I've traveled here a few times before.
Well, Four Corners is a very peaceful town, sir. I'd rather keep it that way.
It occasionally is. And I like to be prepared for when it's not.
You just go and make sure I don't have to take them pistols away. You have yourself a great day, Mr. Adams.
You as well, Deputy. Don't get dead.
I don't plan on it.
Have a good afternoon, sir.
I strut away.
He strides back into the saloon. As he does so, the batwing door of the saloon just kind of, he gets distracted by something, the light flashes in his eyes, and he's off. And he curses loudly. Not in English and not in Spanish. But a gentleman cursing can be understood in any language, no matter what is actually being said.
Well, whatever that is.
You make your way back down the street to your...
Well, to everybody else. Mm-hmm. Hi, everyone.
As you, it's very easy to do. You approach, and there they are. The priest and Maisie looking at you slightly quizzically.
I see
Like
you
when
met that new fellow who's in town.
That Mr. Adams fellow?
Hmm. He's
Yeah.
a odd sight here, isn't he?
He sure is.
Did you notice how much he's packing?
I did notice that, ma'am. Might have to keep my eye on him.
Definitely brings me a lot of comfort, Deputy, that you will be doing that.
Well, I do what I can for Four Corners.
And she's like, "Oh, by the way, Father, Doctor, you got mail today."
Mail?
Yeah, and she'll
Totally.
pass them the letter and the pamphlet.
Well, yeah, I mean, picture like something that had been tri-folded in on itself with a giant big gold wax seal, but thicker than a letter.
And as she's passing that to the father, she's like, "That's an interesting piece of mail you got there."
Yes. I'll maybe have like a pocket or something in my robes. I'll just, I don't know, something.
Yeah, I'll take the letter from Maisie and just tuck it into my duster.
Do you even look at it?
Yeah, I'll look at it and see who it's from, and I'm assuming it's from back east, so I'll just stick that.
Oh
back
yes,
in the
the handwriting is very distinctive. The flourishes are very obvious. You are very aware of who this letter is from.
pocket. Right. I'll just put it away for now. We'll read that later.
Everybody
Father-
seems so secretive. You'd think after what happened yesterday, we'd be in a little closer. You
Well,
men.
I don't have anything to hide.
Sure, you don't, Deputy.
Well, what would I have to hide, honestly?
It was very kind of you to offer to move the crate into the saloon.
Ah, yes. Because you don't think that there's something wrong with that alcohol of his?
What would possibly be wrong?
Well, that's what I'm aiming to find out. And that's why I took one of them bottles.
I drank last night as well. I feel fine.
George, can I take a look at that? Oh,
You
okay.
sure can, Doctor. I was actually going to have you try some experimenting with me.
Don't tend to drink.
What if we did this not in the middle of the street?
Probably a good idea.
Well, I figure we keep congregating behind, like, the building where we found Wilford dead.
It's not a big town, though. Like, I have a feeling like people can very easily see down this space between these buildings.
I just see 4 people huddled around a bottle, passing it around.
And 4 people is like a quarter of the people that live here. Mind if we go back to your
and
store,
let's-
Miss Coldwater?
And let's be honest, the father is a very distinctive in appearance.
And I'm carrying around a flour sack of dynamite. So.
So, where you currently are, it is equidistant to go to the Coldwater store or to the jail.
I'm not going to the jail.
Well,
Yeah,
the
let's
store is
go to
going to
the
bring
jail.
us the most privacy, although a few people might be coming around to get their mail. Let's go.
I mean, theoretically, you could go further up and go to the doctor's office, but you do have a patient still there, Doctor.
Yes. So I think the most privacy is at the general store. So
Wait, is the doctor... Is your patient still waiting after you, or is...
it's the guy that got thrown through the window.
No, okay.
I mean, George does have his apartment above the jail, but you can go back to the store. Your choice.
I think the store should be fine.
Store.
Store. You enter through. It's very obvious. It's very nicely well appointed. Assuming you're going to lock the door and pull the shades.
Yep. She put the closed for the day sign up, and she's just gonna leave it. And it wouldn't be weird for people to see her coming back though, because she does also live upstairs.
It also wouldn't necessarily be weird for you to close the store the day the stage arrives if you need to put, inventory away.
Mm-hmm.
It's slightly hard to do with folk coming in and out the door. So you come into the store, you close yourself in, and George has presented you with a bottle.
That's here the bottle.
I'm gonna take a look at the bottle. I guess let's see if we can see what language the label's in.
Okay, what languages do you speak, Father?
Father or doctor? I mean, I think we can all just group around the bottle and try to read what it says.
Speak
What's
Spanish and Latin.
It's neither one of those.
Russian, Latin, Greek, and English.
Interestingly, Father, it looks very similar to Greek. The letters are the same. It's not Russian. It's not Cyrillic, but it is definitely Greek letters. And
I
just roll me
understand. Oh, go ahead.
just roll me a straight intelligence check.
Can you make out what these weird drawings are saying, Father?
Maybe. Let me roll the bones. No, I understand the letters, but the words they spell aren't anything I am familiar with. I believe it is a form of Greek, perhaps?
And the words don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize prefixes and suffixes that are here, but they're not words that you've ever seen before. Maybe if you had time and a dictionary and a lot more dedicated effort,
Skill.
you could work your way through it.
Yeah.
Maisie is surprisingly educated from her father. Knowing that it looks like Greek, could I roll to see if she would be able to at least not be able to read it, but to know what the language is?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a straight intelligence, right?
Go right ahead.
And I get a bonus die.
You get one bonus die for your
Straight
talent.
Yeah.
Which you
Makes
get
it
a hard success. You do. Looking at this, it looks... The father is correct. It looks like a form of Greek, but it's not a Greek that anyone would have learned or would have spoken. The words are combinations of things that do not make sense. If you were to say it, there are some... if you say it out loud, you see that the syllables and the stresses are in the wrong place. If you were thinking about it phonetically, you would go, well, this is definitely not Koine, which is the liturgical form of Greek, the common Greek that was propagated by Alexander the Great through the Holy Land and became the common language of the Hellenistic period and the language of the language that the Bible was written in first, and it's the most liturgical form that a priest of the Eastern Orthodox would have learned. It's also not Athenian classical Greek. It seems older somehow, archaic, almost like older than Homeric, and you see, no, I had to. You see that it seems the words you begin to make a little bit of sense. The phrase itself still doesn't make much sense, but you can pick out what the words are. The words by themselves are praise him, serve her, blood always.
I think Maisie wouldn't say this aloud. She would have been probably scribbling, trying to put things together. Probably using some books from the back and some best guesses, and she'd finally write it all out and hand it to the father and be like, "This is my best guess." It doesn't make any sense. But this isn't a language that anyone speaks. Like, why would these bottles have this label? Like, this is not from any alcohol company that I deal with.
Definitely not.
You are full of surprise, Mrs. Coldwater.
I think that is a compliment.
It is a compliment. I mean it truly.
Could just on that phrase, is there a roll I could make to maybe like put something together? Praise him, serve her, blood always, like an occult, or
You can roll the occult if you want,
Say it 3 times out loud.
or religion if you chose.
is there even a religion skill?
Yeah,
No.
there is.
Yeah, there is.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. No, wait, no, there's none.
No, there's not. I keep going back and forth between like editions. and
Yeah,
it's one of those-
religion is under occult.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
occult.
I am awful.
No, it doesn't seem familiar to you. It definitely, or to any of you really.
Hey, if I spend 23 out of my 29 luck points, I would succeed on my mythos roll.
You would, and you could then it would be really interesting to see you try and get that luck back.
Yeah, that's the thing, so I'm not gonna do that.
Because remember, you guys we'll roll at the end of the session to see if you get your luck back.
Yeah. I've already used a lot.
It doesn't ring any bells for you. When Maisie points out the verb using for praise, you're like, but that doesn't look anything like what is usually tied to a phrase about praising for God or
Satan.
or Satan, either one. None of the prayer phrases.
Heretical cults have always been a thing. Praise him could be attributed to Satan. Serve her is where I get caught up and confused. Blood always, common practice for sacrifice. But altogether, it doesn't piece correctly.
Well, let's tackle one mystery at a time. I think we ought to find them critters before everything goes to hell here.
Perhaps we should talk to Mr. Taggart to see where and why he ordered this shipment.
Right now, there are some very interesting fellows down at the saloon. I think we should leave Mr. Taggart alone for the time being.
If we open the bottle, does it smell like whiskey?
Definitely smells like whiskey. Smells like real good whiskey. Like, this would not. Well, it might burn a little on the afterbite, but it's like real smooth.
Well, if we're going to die in a mine anyway, might as well try to have fun, and I'm gonna take a swig of that bottle.
I need you to make me a con roll.
And Macy's gonna look at you like you're crazy.
And I need it to be a hard success.
Wait. Nope. It's a regular success.
Okay.
I mean, do I
You
spend
feel-
21 luck points? No, go ahead.
Come on.
You feel very disoriented. You feel tired.
I just took a swig and this is hitting me harder than a train.
Somebody better catch him as he passes out on the floor.
I'll attempt to.
And I'll immediately tend to him and check his pulse and his heart rate.
Doctor, has this ever affected someone so quickly from alcohol?
This is not any kind of alcohol I've ever seen.
So much for helping us go investigate the mines.
The man is asleep. But while the rest of you see a man asleep, Mr. Brooks sees something very different. Mr. Brooks sees water.
If you fucking lace
All
that
around.
alcohol with Black Lotus, I swear to God.
No, I did not lace the alcohol with Black Lotus.
I see
I thought
water.
about it.
I don't like it.
You see water and flame and nothing beyond you. You feel cold and wet.
I don't like where I am.
No,
Is it dark? Am I underwater or?
it's very dark. You're underwater. If you look up, all you can see is flashes. You know where the surface is, because that's where the fire is.
I'm gonna
Above
swim
you.
to the surface. I don't intend of staying one bit underwater. I don't like water. I don't want to stay in it.
You break the surface. You take a gasp of air. You look around you. You feel the heat of this burning ship. This driftwood coming from your side of your face. The water beneath you is cold. You feel something else in the water pulling at you.
It's
I need you to make a dodge roll.
it's them again. Whoops.
No, you do not succeed on that one. You feel something jarring you, pulling you back under the water. As you take a gasp of breath, you're back under the water. And you gasp awake in the middle of the Coldwater sentries on Maisie Coldwater's floor. With the doctor looking at you.
Well, they should have called this kick like a mule. Whew.
Deputy, are you okay?
I'm not, Father. I just relived part of my life that I thought was behind me. At least I think that's what it is.
Grab the
I
bottle.
need you to make a sanity check.
I need to make a sanity check?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'ma succeed.
It's good. You don't take any sanity loss.
Which part of your life?
On the ship I was on, capsized in the Bay of Mexico. There was fire everywhere and I fell under the water. I don't quite recall exactly what happened, but I know there was something in that water. And then I blacked out and I woke up on a beach. I don't know, I don't recall much else. Well, I mean, I recall much else after, but I mean from what just happened. In actuality, I traveled all the way to the town of Monterey. But in this case, I didn't make it out of the water, and whatever nightmare I had, I don't think Mr. Taggart should be selling that to anybody in town. I'm built with a somewhat sturdy constitution, and yeah, I don't think a lot of folks here in Four Corners are gonna take that well to the alcohol. And I look at the doctor. I say, I would feel a mite guilty if people were to fall prey to their worst nightmares and just, die after drinking some of this. I'd advise, unless you want to try it out, I'd advise not to touch that bottle. Maisie, if you want to hide it somewhere.
I'll grab the bottle and we'll cap that back up and put it away.
Yeah.
I think if he asked Maisie to hide it, she would actually take it upstairs.
I don't want to destroy it just because we need to confront Mr. Taggart with it. But
Perhaps our trip to the mines will have to wait then, and we should address this bottle of whiskey.
I mean, if they're playing poker tonight at the saloon, there's a lot of people, including my daddy, that could end up drinking that stuff.
I think I might need to make a quick pit stop at the jail. What if, and bear with me, what if that was the source of the brawl the other day? What if these people were just reliving their weird nightmares or something and they just started to, hit one another?
Well, then if that's the case, you should maybe show some signs of the withdrawals that these folks are going through. I'll keep an eye on you, George, and make sure you don't end up like your cellmates down there.
I appreciate it, Doctor. Wait. No, that can't be it. Father here drank from the bar during the funerals. Maisie, did you partake in any of the drinks at the wake? What? Yeah? Oh, Deirdre's muted.
I'm a professional. No, you would remember that the only people who drank of your group who drank at the wake for Mr. Theodore Bradford were yourself, the doctor, and the priest.
I didn't drink.
And none of your... You did. You all...
Oh, yeah, we all took a glass. Yeah, that's true.
But you'll also remember that what you took a glass of was some severe rot gut. Like, below the bottom shelf.
Yeah, it was the cheap stuff. I don't think Bruce was
And this is not cheap at all.
It's true. Well, I'll look to the rest of the group and I'll ask them. How do y'all feel about some poker tonight?
I feel not that inclined to gamble.
We just play between ourselves, or fake playing anyway. And we keep an eye on Taggart and the rest of the patrons. See if he feeds any of them some of these weird Greek bottle things.
Should we not just outright ask him?
I don't understand why we think Taggart has anything to do with this.
Well, he ordered them.
I don't know if that's true either. We know they showed up for him. But they showed up with that odd man.
That's
Maybe
true.
has a point.
You're right.
Let's not jump to conclusions, but we should probably get over there and keep an eye on things.
Well, how do y'all feel like drinking and socializing tonight?
And I spend all sorts of time over there, so I don't really need any kind of excuse.
I would like to keep my wits about me tonight. I shall drink water.
Are you sure, Father? That's a good plan to get sick.
I feel like I will be okay.
Alrighty then.
There have been one murder, one attack in the last 2 days.
Whoa. Sorry. If we hadn't intervened at the lake's house, there would have been 2 murders.
It is true. Perhaps I will go talk to Mr. Taggart about his shipment. No one suspects the priest. Maybe a bottle fell out on the ground and I looked at it.
That's a plausible story.
Does anyone object?
I think Maisie looks clearly uncomfortable, but she's not saying anything.
Do we see the uncomfortableness, or?
I mean, everybody in town would know that Taggart is is like her father's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's understandable why this would like accusing him would be uncomfortable for her.
Well, I'm not saying he's trying to poison everyone, Miss Coldwater. But with everything that's been happening, who knows?
Well, Father, if you're going to be asking questions of Uncle Taggart, then Deputy, I think you need to be asking more questions of that strange man that showed up.
I think I'm going to pay him a visit.
It can't be a coincidence that 30 bottles of this stuff and him appeared on the same stage.
It just so happens he's in a poker game with Dr. Jackson tonight. Reckon I have a few dollars to spend. Haven't gambled in years, but when you sit down at another man's table, sometimes you can get information out of them that even a good old interrogation can't. You're right, Miss Coldwater. I'll go have a chat with our new friend.
So, we have a plan for poker, a plan for a conversation, and some mysteries for our friends to solve. But I think that's where we're going to hold it for tonight.
Yep.
So, having fun still?
We didn't lose sanity. I'm fine.
Yes.
Still not crazy.
Today.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a feeling that'll come back and bite us soon.
Well, I mean, I'd rather we go to the saloon. I'd rather we, even if it's a red herring, it's still safer for us than the fucking mines.
I was gonna say I think we should wait, but maybe it's better we wait till June comes back from her business and then we can take a trip to the mines.
Yeah, so what you mean is we shove June in the mines and we just follow in back of her with sticks of dynamites.
Yeah, that sounds like a sound plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm happy about. I'm happy we didn't see anything without June here.
God told me June is working for him.
God did speak to you on that one, Father.
Mhm.
But that's where we're going to end it for tonight, folks. So why don't we go around and you can say where you are and where we can find you. Why don't we start with our dear friend Kelly? Did you have fun? What was all the good things?
I like the mystery that's unfolding. I'm really curious to see about it, to see where it goes. I think the hiding the spooky in the booze is so time period appropriate, and I really enjoy it. On that note, so I'm Kelly, a Kelly Lane on Twitter. You can find me obviously here, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Scraticus Academy. I play Tuesdays in a Curse of Strahd campaign. We're in season 2. Strahd keeps showing up, so highly recommend hopping in on watching that now. And on Wednesdays, I play in a Weave system game, which is a brand spanking new system, and it's super fun to play. It's tarot card based, and both of those are at 10 p.m. EST. And actually, tomorrow morning at 11 on Katie Faye's channel, I believe, I will be playing Volume 5 of Bluebeard's Bride.
Oh, nice.
So you should come check.
You're going from my level of horror to Kiana's level of horror. Have fun.
Yes. I'm nervous, but very excited, in the best kind of way.
Working our way around the table, why don't we see our good friend Dr. Anders. Scott, how did you have fun tonight? All the good things?
Very much. I'm Also very excited to see where this goes. I was kind of happy we had something else unfold to keep us out of the mines, so I definitely want to see what's going on with the booze and what this Adams fellow's up to. Other than that, I'm Scott. I'm Berserker Rage on Twitter. You can follow me there if you'd like. This is primarily the place I play most of the time. If I'm not dropping in on Scratch channel for one shot here or there, so definitely look me up and follow me.
All right, and coming around the table, Quentin, how did Father Boris enjoy the evening?
There's so many questions, not enough answers. Just a roller coaster of emotions, and I loved every second of it. I'm at Fraggin on Twitter. I don't post a whole lot, but I like and just retweet anybody that I know. I'm just like, they're doing things, good for them. So again, I had a great time. I guess I'm only ever on the internet when I'm on with Simon, so thank you, Simon.
And me, I'm gonna let Simon go last because it's his channel and he's special. For me, I'm Deirdre or Praxcore Thesmiophoria, as you see me in the Twitch chat, and you can follow me on Twitter at Deirdre Donlin, where I talk about D&D and classics and all the fun things because I'm that nerd. But you will see me tomorrow, also hanging out with Simon over on Soulbear RPG, as the Shattered Fam goes to deal with a Manticore because fire breathing and poison breathing is fun, right?
Well,
that'll be fun.
But that's a chimera. The Manticore is like the face of a lion and the tail of a scorpion. If we go with like D&D Manticores.
Yeah. But remember, our Manticore is effectively a chimera.
Oh,
remember he said that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, admittedly, Eleanor was drunk off her ass last episode, but you were sober.
Was he?
I don't know if Simon was sober.
Oh.
Kadarin was.
Yeah, Kadarin was. No, but when everything was explained again in the mention, Kadarin wasn't there because he went outside because he missed his mouse pal.
No. He was because Eleanor had to go get him.
I thought that was after. Oh my god.
No. That was the whole point. Like we didn't have any conversations without you there. But yes, so you get to see the lovely family dynamics between Eleanor and Kadarin and Sigilius and Nilva. It's fun. Come hang out as we slowly die. It's great. You can also find me Monday as I'm back here and Simon's in the driver's seat for some wonderful dark matter. I love my Void Cleric. I made SAS a proficiency skill.
Without consulting with your DM, but alright. I'm just saying.
but the writer gave it to me.
Yeah, well, I'm the DM. I'm special. You said it yourself. But I'm not gonna take that skill away from you anyway. I
don't know if you could take it from Kevin Shed.
Well, yeah, but were you done with your outro?
Yes, I'm done. You can go now.
Just making sure. Hi everyone, I'm not gonna do a big outro. The schedule is coming up in like the next scene. During the end credits, you'll see everything that we do here. I'm Simon. I had lots of fun. I hope everyone had fun playing, and I cannot wait to see you guys again next week. Bye everyone.